Hi guys and welcome to a new video. My name is SJ Hart, thank you for watching. So it's the 15th of December. Yesterday there was no video because I wasn't feeling very good, but let's continue our story. When I get to the trailer, I collapse on my bed. I set the picture of Caleb and me with Santa on the table, gazing at it sideways while I rest my head on the ugly sweater pillow. Then I leap to my knees and hold our picture up to my friends from back home. First I show it to Elizabeth. In my best Elizabeth voice I ask, "Why are you doing this? You're there to sell trees and hang out with Heather." I answer, "I have been, but..." I switch back to Elizabeth. "This can't go anywhere, Sierra, no matter what he says about focusing on the possible." I squeeze my eyes shut. I don't know you guys. Maybe it could. I move on to Rachel's picture. The first thing she does is whistle and point at his dimple. "I know," I say. "Trust me, that does not make it any easier." "What's the worst that can happen?" she says. "You get your heart broken. So, it sounds like it's going to happen anyway." I drop back onto my bed, clutching Caleb's picture to my chest. I know. I go outside to see if I can help in the big top. Things are slow, so I mix hot chocolate in my Easter egg mug and I head back to the trailer for schoolwork. Passing our tallest Fraser first, I see Andrew tugging a garden hose between them. After our blow up the other day, I decide to make nice for the sake of working together. "Thanks for always checking their water," I say. "They look good." Andrew completely ignores me. He twists the nozzle on the hose and starts misting the trees. So much for staying cool. In the trailer, I pull out my laptop and review chapter write-up I threw together last night. Checking my email, I see Monsieur Chapeau is upset I blew off our last conversation, so I reschedule it and then shut everything down. Peeking through the curtains, I watch Dad approach Andrew, motioning for him to pass him the hose. He demonstrates the way he wants the trees misted and then hands it back. Andrew nods and Dad smiles, patting him on the shoulder. Then he walks into our forest of trees. Instead of resuming misting, Andrew quickly looks over to the trailer. I snap back, letting the curtain close. I decide to make dinner for the family, slicing up vegetables for McGregor's and cooking them together in a large pot of soup. While that simmers, I watch another flatbed loaded with trees pulled up outside. Uncle Bruce hops down from the cab. While some of our workers swarm the truck and climb the ladders to the trees, Uncle Bruce jogs over to the trailer and opens the door. "Wow, it smells great in here." He pulls me into a bear hug. Out there it smells like tree-sap and teenage boys. He excuses himself and ducks into the bathroom while I check on the soup. I sprinkle in a few spices from the cupboard and then stir it with a wooden spoon. Uncle Bruce returns to have a taste before heading back out to the trees. I lean against the counter and stare at the door as it closes behind him. These are the moments that make me look forward to doing this for the rest of my life. When my parents get too old, it will be up to me to decide the fate of our farm and whether we run any lots. When the truck bed is empty, Dad stays outside to direct the workers, but Mum and Uncle Bruce come in and join me. They're so thrilled with the soup, slurping it up like hungry wolves. They say nothing about me bailing on the heavy labor. Ladling himself a second bowl, Uncle Bruce tells us about Aunt Penny wrapping their whole Christmas tree in lights without plugging them in first. "Who does that?" he says. When she finally turned them on, half of the lights didn't work, so now they've got a tree half as bright as it could be. After Uncle Bruce goes outside to take over for Dad, Mum heads into the tiny bedroom for a short nap before the evening rush. Dad comes in and I hold out a bowl of soup for him. He stands just inside the door, seemingly agitated, like he wants to talk to me about something. Instead, he shakes his head and walks to the bedroom. The next afternoon, when things slow down, I return the call to Rachel. "You are not going to believe what happened," she says. "Some actor saw your post about the winter formal and accepted." "Hey, they do that sometimes. It's good press. So I'm still holding out hope," she says, "but this way is way better than that." "So spill." "The girl in the Christmas Carol, the one playing the ghost of Christmas past. She has mono. I mean, that's not good, but I'm going to replace her, which is..." I laugh. "At least you recognize mono isn't good." Rachel laughs too. I know, but it's mono, not cancer. Anyway, I know it's last minute, but Sunday night's the only show that isn't sold out." "As in, tomorrow?" I ask. "I already looked it up, and you can hop a train at midnight and..." "Midnight tonight?" "You get here in plenty of time," she says. I must have paused too long because Rachel asks if I'm still here. "I'll ask," I say, "but I can't promise." "No, of course," she says, "but try. I want to see you. Elizabeth does too. And you can stay at my house. I already asked my parents. And then you can give us a scoop on Caleb. You've been way too quiet on that front." "We had the talk about his sister," I say. "I think he told me everything. So I'm guessing he's not a knife-wielding psychopath." "I haven't said much to anyone because it still feels complicated," I say. "I'm not sure how I feel or even how I want to feel." "That's confusing to hear," Rachel says. "It must be really confusing to think." "Now that I know it's not wrong to like him," I say, "I obsess over whether that makes it right. I'm only here for a couple more weeks." I can hear Rachel tapping the side of her phone. "Sounds like you don't expect to forget him when you leave." At this point, I don't know if that's possible. After we end the call, I find Mum in the big top hanging up newly made wreaths. Over her work shirt, she wears a dark green apron that says, "It's beginning to smell a lot like Christmas." Last year we gave that apron to Dad on Christmas Eve. We always get him something cheesy before going home, where the real presents are. I hope I fluff up some of the branches from the weft. Eventually I blurt out, can I take a train and see Rachel be the ghost of Christmas past on Sunday? Mum freezes while adjusting a weft. I think you said something about Rachel and a ghost, or... It's terrible timing, I say. I know. This weekend is going to be so busy here. I don't need to go if it'll be an inconvenience to anyone. I don't mention no particular wanting to go. I don't want to waste 2 potential days with Caleb stuck on the train by myself. She walks to a sealed cardboard box, sets it on the counter and slices through the tape with a razor. I'll take to your dad, she says. We may be able to work something out. Oh. After opening the box, she hands me several thin white boxes of silver tinsel. I set those on the shelf below the weft, and then she hands me more. A few of the workers have been asking for more hours, she says. We can staff up for a few days while you're gone. She sets the empty box below the counter and whips her hands on her apron. Can you watch the register for me? That means she's going to talk to Dad. Actually, I say, closing my eyes, I don't really want to go. I smile at her with gritted teeth. Mum chuckles. Then why did you ask? I scrub a hand over my face. Because I thought you'd say no. I thought you'd need me here, but I told Rachel I would ask. Mum's face turns soft. Honey, what's going on? You know your father and I love having you here to help, but we would never want you to feel like you gave up everything for the family business. But it is a family business, I say. One day I could take it over. We would love that, of course, Mum says. She pulls me into a hug and then leans back so we can see each other. But if I'm reading correctly, we're not just talking about the family business or play. I look away. Rachel's important to me, you know that. Even though the ghost of Christmas past doesn't even talk, I'd still have to see it. But, well... Caleb asked me to meet his family this weekend. Mum studies my expression. If I was your dad, I'd be booking a train ticket right now. I know, I say. Am I being stupid? Your feelings are not stupid, she says, but I need to tell you, your dad has some real reservations about Caleb. I frown. Can you tell me why? I told him we need to trust you, Mum says, but I can't say I'm not a little concerned myself. Mum, tell me, I say, searching my eyes. Did Andrew say something? He talked to your father, she says, and so should you. But it's a Christmas carol, Rachel says. I lay on my bed with a phone to my ear and one hand on my forehead. Rachel's photo looks down at me and she pretends to hide from paparazzi. It's not that I don't want to see it, I tell her. I could say my parents won't let me leave, but she and I have always been honest with each other. Then get on the train, she says. I swear if this is about that boy. His name is Caleb, and yes it is. Rachel, I'm supposed to meet his family this weekend. After that we only have a few days before I hear a click. Are you there? I slam my phone on the table, put the ugly sweater pillow over my mouth and scream. Giving myself a moment to be angry, I decide to use the energy to confront Dad about what Andrew said to him. I find Dad carrying a small tree out to the car. No, there's too much going on tonight, he says. The bluntness of his tone tells me he's just not ready to talk. Your mum and I have to review sales and... No, Sierra, I can't. When Heather calls to see if I can make cookies tonight with the guys, I don't even bother asking. Mum said she doesn't want the family business intruding on my life, so when Devon pulls up, I tell her I'm leaving, hop into his car, and we go. We pull into the supermarket parking lot, and Caleb leaves forward. He asks Devon to park at the opposite end from the Popper's Christmas tree lot, so there are no awkward conversation about why he hasn't been around lately. You should buy from them too, I say. I love the Hopper family. I mean, then I would have to resign your discounts, but... Heather laughs. Sierra, I think you'll have to tell him what resign means. Ha, funny, Caleb says. I know what it means, in context. My phone rings with a text from Elizabeth, and I cover the screen with my hand to read it. She tells me I need to consider which friends will be here years from now. Obviously, Rachel called her once she hung up on me. A second text from Elizabeth expresses disappointment that I'm doing this over a guy I barely know. Everything all right? Caleb asks. I turn off my phone and put it in my pocket. Just some drama in Oregon, I say. Especially coming from Elizabeth, those texts feel aggressive. Do they think my decision was easy, or that Caleb can't possibly matter to me? It's not easy, and I'm not becoming one of those girls. I'm here for a short time, and I don't want to erase several days from the calendar that I could spend with him. We get out of the car, and Caleb exaggerates, flipping up his collar and scrunching down, so Mr. Hopper won't notice him. Even though we're too far away from him to see us, I do the same, and we run into the store. Heather folds the shopping list in half and then tears it along the crease. She gives half the list to me and Caleb, keeps half for herself, and then loops arms with Devon. We agree to meet at the register 8 when we're done. Caleb and I start by heading towards the dairy section at the back of the store. You seemed out of it when we picked you up, Caleb says. Is everything okay? I can only shrug. Things are not okay. Rachel's mad that I'm not coming to her show. Dad would be mad that I'm here right now. That's all I get. A shrug, Caleb asks. Thanks. That's A+ for communication. I don't want to talk about this while shopping, so now Caleb is upset with me. He walks a full step ahead. When we reach the wall of refrigerated milk, he abruptly stops and reaches back for my hand. I follow his gaze until I spot Jeremiah setting a gallon of milk in a shopping cart. When a woman who looks like his mum wheels the cart around, we all face each other. I give his mum a closer look. I recognize her. She came to the lot a few days ago. When I offered to help, she mumbled something about a price and walked right past me. Jeremiah gives both of us a courteous smile. His mum begins to push the cart around us. "Caleb," she says instead of "hello." Her voice is tight. Caleb's voice is soft. "Hi, Mrs. Moore." Before she can pass, he adds, "This is my friend Sierra." Mrs. Moore looks at me, still pushing the cart past us. "Nice to meet you, dear." I meet her gaze. "My parents own one of the Christmas tree lots," I say. I step in the same direction they're heading, and she stops the cart. "I think you came by recently." Her smile is hesitant, and she looks at Jeremiah. Which reminds me, we still need to get ours. I feel the tension in Caleb's hand, but I do my best to ignore him and continue the conversation. I follow beside their cart, pulling Caleb with me. "Come by again," I say. My uncle brought down a whole new shipment. They're really fresh. Mrs. Moore looks back at Caleb again with less coldness, but turns to me to speak. "Maybe we will. It was nice to meet you, Sierra." She pushes the cart ahead, and Jeremiah follows her down the aisle. Caleb's eyes look glazed. I squeeze his arm to show that I'm here, but also to apologize if I forced that moment onto him. But it's clear to me that he and Jeremiah should not have stopped being friends. Before I can express any of this to him, there's an angry voice behind us. "My brother doesn't need your mess, Caleb. He's good." I wheel around. Jeremiah's sister stands with her hands on her hips, waiting for Caleb to react, but he says nothing. When his gaze drops to the floor, I take a step towards her. "What's your name?" I say. "It's Cassandra, right?" "Listen, Cassandra, Caleb is good too. You and your brother should learn that." She looks from me to Caleb, probably wondering why he's not sticking up for himself. I tilt my head, ready to ask her the same thing about Jeremiah. "I don't know you," Cassandra says to me, "and you don't know my brother." "But I do know Caleb," I say. She shakes her head. "He's not getting mixed up in that. Not again." She takes off down the aisle. I squeeze Caleb's hand, and we watch her disappear around the corner. "I'm so sorry," I whisper. "I know you can stick up for yourself. I just couldn't stop." "People will think what they want," he says. The confrontation is over, and I can see his calmness slowly returning. Over the years, he's clearly learned to let these moments wash off his back, and now he smirks at me. "So, did you get it out of your system?" "I was ready to take swings if it came to that," I say. "And now you know why I didn't let go of your hand." Devin come up behind us. He's carrying a basket with eggs, frosting, and sprinkles. "Can we please go make cookies now?" she asks. She looks at our hands. "Where's all your stuff?" It was a short list. After gathering our items, we walk to the checkout line together. Jeremiah, his mum, and Cassandra are 2 registers over. None of them acknowledge us, but the way they look everywhere, but at us, says everything. "Doesn't it bother you that he won't even look at you?" I ask Caleb. "Of course it does," he says, "but it's my fault, so let it go." "Are you kidding me?" I say. "It's the 3 of them who should." "Please," he says, "let it go." I allow Caleb, Heather, and Devin to put things on the conveyor belt while I glare at Jeremiah's family. Mrs. Moore looks over and does a double take, obviously uneasy that I'm watching her. "Come by tomorrow," I shout. "We're giving friends and family a discount." Cassandra narrows her eyes at me, but keeps her mouth shut. Caleb pretends to be occupied with the gum rack. Devin looks confused. "Can I get a discount?" In the morning, I'm surprised when Jeremiah actually shows up at the lot with Cassandra. He looks like he just rolled out of bed, threw on sweatpants and a hoodie, and a bull cap. She looks like she woke up to an alarm, had coffee, breakfast, did her hair and makeup, and then got him up. Jeremiah goes to investigate trees while Cassandra comes into the big top. "I'm assuming you came for the discount," I say. "My mom wouldn't let us pass it up," she grumbles, but I'm sure Cassandra tried. "You're welcome," I tell her. She lowers her head a bit, but still looks me in the eyes. "So why did you offer the discount?" "Honestly, I was hoping your parents would be standing here so I could talk to them." She crosses her arms. "What could you say that hasn't already been covered?" "That Caleb never would hurt anyone," I said. "I get the feeling that hasn't been covered." "You believe that?" "Completely." Cassandra laughs. "You have got to be kidding me. Jeremiah watched him go after his sister with a knife." "I know. I also know that he regrets it every day," I say. "He lives with it every day. His family lives with it." Cassandra looks down and shakes her head. "My parents will never be okay with—" "I get that, but maybe they're overdoing this protective thing," I say. "My dad makes any guy who works here clean out houses if he even looks at me funny." This is a little different than flirting with someone. You know that, right? Behind her, Jeremiah walks into the big top. He holds a tree twig in his hand, but stays back from the conversation. "I also don't think it's just your parents," I say. "Jeremiah and Caleb used to be best friends, and they should still be best friends. They just never had a chance to figure things out before these lines were drawn." I wait for a response that doesn't come. She looks at her nails, but at least she's still here. "You must see him at school," I say. "Everything he does proves who he is now. Did you know he delivers Christmas trees to needy families? Do you know why? Because it makes them happy." She finally looks at me. "Or is it because he ruined his own family?" I flinch. She looks down and closes her eyes. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know what to say. In a way, maybe she's right. Caleb doesn't give the trees hoping for gold stars. He's hoping for peace to balance his mistakes. Jeremiah approaches. He puts a hand on his sister's shoulder. "Everything all right here?" She turns to him. What if it happened again, Jeremiah? What if someone pushes his buttons when you're with him and he freaks out again? You think you'll avoid getting dragged into that? He made a mistake, and he's paid for it, I say. All this time later, it still devastates him. Do you like being a part of that? She looks at Jeremiah. Mum would never approve. Jeremiah looks at me. Without accusation, he says, you think you know him. I do, I say. I know who he is now. I'm sorry, Cassandra says. She looks from her brother to me. I know you want this to be different, but I will always put my brother first. She turns and walks out of the big top. Well, I hope you guys liked it, and see you tomorrow. Bye!